Live, welcome back. So, we are doing the first ever joint Redeemed UK and Redeemed Canada stream called British Canadian, Redeemed British Canadian stream. I'm just gonna go with that name. So, welcome back. Um, it looks like it's gonna rain out here, but I wanted to come outside and record, so I did not expect the cloudiness. You guys can see me, there's enough light out here. Um, I may try to take this in with me or in front of my place. I'm not sure yet. I guess people are just coming in. So, this is the first time in history I'm doing this. I thought, why not combine the two for a stream, right? Two two different support bases from two different parts of the world come together. So yeah, I want to have fun, guys. Like this is all. I want you to know this is all very serious, you know. But I also want to have fun. You guys are actually seeing my creativity inside of this, so I want to be able to have fun with this stuff. So we're just waiting for people to come in. Also, I'm going to be putting a link in the description when this is over with. If you would like to donate to Redeem at all, Redeem UK, Redeem Canada, wherever you're from in the world, America, here at home, if you'd like to donate, I'm going to put a link in the description to Venmo. Support the cause if you can. So, I'm in the park, where I usually record. And I just kind of want to give you guys a heads up that, once it gets colder, I'm going to be indoors. So the stream you saw before is going to be the stream. That's kind of where I'm going to be because it's going to be too cold. But we're not there yet. So we talked a little bit about um, Islam. And we talked about it in the UK. And it's come to my attention that also this is invading Canada. I didn't know that actually. I'm just now learning about that yesterday that this is now invading Canada. So it's important that we stand together in these hard times, guys. Seriously. We are in some dark, dark times, and we have to support each other. We have to be there for each other. That's why I'm here today doing this, to pray for you guys. That's why I'm here to equip you guys to be able to not just survive in your countries, but thrive in your countries. UK, Redeem UK, stand up. So thrive in your country. Redeem Canada, stand up. Thrive in your country. You got to thrive in your country. This isn't just survive. This is being equipped to handle business in your home. And in order to do that, you got to look inside of your heart. You got to look in yourself. So before you go after people, before you do whatever you're planning to do, there's a sequence that God wants you to do. It's not just go out, fight people, kill people, and push them out. That's not what God is asking you to do right now. There's a sequence that must be done. So what God is asking you to do is first look at yourself. Lord, where am I lacking? Where do I need to change? Where's a constant sin pattern in my life, Lord, that does not please you? Now, I want you to understand, you may not be perfect. Even when you go out and you spread the gospel, you're not perfect. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes all the time. But the point is that we want to put ourselves in a better position to be able to break some of these chains that have been destroying our lives. We destroy our lives with chains that the enemy has locked on us. A lot of us, like me, when we were little kids. What's going on, Blakely? So we have chains on us. God wants us to be free from chains. Now, we hear this all the time. God freed this person. God freed that person. And I remember when I was younger and I was becoming a Christian, because I didn't grow up Christian. I would see people talk about how they're healed, but I was still an addict. And I said, oh, I'm a Christian. Why are these people getting healed, but I'm not getting healed? So then something's not right. And I was correct. Something wasn't right here. And that was me. What's going on, Legacy? That was me. I wasn't right because I had to get down with God. I had to go into dark places and I had to get so close to Him that I would never be the same again, and I did. A lot of fasting, guys. I'm telling you, a lot of fasting for chains to be broken. And let me tell you, He breaks chains. Now, do temptations still come? Of course, I'm a human being. Do you fall into a temptation sometimes? Sure, you're a human being. But what do you do when you fall in temptation? You get back up again. You get back up again. So as you continue to go with God, and He begins to break chains in your life for the first time that you've never seen broken, you say, Lord, I'm not perfect still, but I see you broke this chain in me. Where do you want me to go in my country to spread your gospel? And watch Him send you out. All the people who are being converted into Islam in the United Kingdom and Canada, you go across your countries and you spread the gospel. I'm gonna be spitting. Y'all know me. I be spitting all the time. I'm sorry. I'm gonna do you one even better. I'm gonna really shake the room. Not only do you go around your countries and you spread the gospel and let the United Kingdom and Canada be a beacon of Jesus Christ and the gospel, that's one way. But I'm gonna throw something else even more heavy at you. All the people in your country that are Muslim, share the gospel with them. Oh God, that's a toughie, I know. I had mentioned earlier in the promo video that I did earlier that I've converted a Muslim into a Christian. It is very possible. It is very possible. But are you willing to be used by God? Because understand, it's not you that's doing it. It wasn't me that was doing it. It was God. See, that Muslim young man was homeless. And a lot of these Islamic places, they don't have shelters. They don't have places for these people to go. They're just out there, right? They're just out there in the street. Hey, you're homeless? Tough luck, brother. But one came in my office one day, and dude was in tears. He was an African American, a black guy, and dude was beaten down. We had a one-on-one conversation, and let me tell you something. Do you know how he was converted? I didn't even need to pull out the Bible to convert him. Did you know what I needed to do? I shared my story with him. I shared my testimony. I shared what God did for me. I shared about me not having money. I shared about not having food. I shared about not having a job. I shared about how I overcame those things with God's help. I shared about suicide. I shared about all the stuff that that man could relate to. He could relate to that. And after digging into his background, what are your parents like? How long you been Muslim? X, Y, and Z. We continued to talk. And you know, by the end of the conversation, that man gave his life to Jesus Christ, and I gave him a Bible right after that. See, I came with the word a little bit later. I didn't want to. You don't want to dump the word on them so fast, because they may not understand that. They're gonna be like, mm. But sometimes when you share what God's done for you, it's something that they can connect with. Then you show them the word, and I show them, hey, if you want to read the Bible for the first time, this is where I read, and I tell them where to read in the Bible. I said the first place I ever read in the Bible was the book of Matthew. Try it. It talks about Jesus Christ. It talks about when he came here. It talks about when he died on the cross, his disciples. What's going on, Prince Gamo? He talks about that. And that man, with tears in his eyes, because he ended up crying, he walked out that office with that Bible, and he gave his life to Christ. So I want you guys to know, you can do it. It is possible. But understand, I didn't do that. That was him. Don't go into expectations of, if I spread the gospel to a Muslim or to just a non-Christian, that if they don't get saved, it's my fault and I'm not enough. It's not your fault, and it's not about whether you're enough or not. It's about God. God uses us as a vessel to go to that person. That person might get saved. They might not. But regardless of whether they get saved or not, that's between him and God. You did your part. To be honest, atheism makes no sense. Well, yeah, you're right. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. There's too much evidence of this has to be something more than just the planet just exploded from dust and all this intricate, detailed things are just randomly here. I mean, it doesn't really make any sense. It's got to be something, because there is something. It's God. But you can, it's God that brings people. So sometimes you'll share the gospel. The person will be like, nah, I've had people say, no, no, thank you. And I said, that's completely fine. But you know what I always tell people that tell me no? I say, I understand if you're saying no, but if I were you, I'd do it sooner rather than later. That's what I tell them. I always let them know that. Because once you close your eyes for the last time, there's no redos, there's no hey, there's no second tries. That's it. You said it makes more sense. Oh, you're saying atheism makes, I'm sorry, makes more, I'm sorry I misread you. Atheism makes more sense. Well, if you technically think about it, maybe from your point of view, it makes more sense for you have your own valid reasons of why you believe atheism makes more sense. But from what I've seen, not even just nature and planets and animals and plants, but just in my own personal life, God makes more sense. Because let me tell you something. When I was knee deep in addiction, when I was knee deep, broken mentally from abuse, from family, let me tell you, it wasn't people who helped me. Not like that. Not the way I thought that they would. I thought my family was going to help me way more. I thought the community was going to help me. I thought all these people were supposed to help me. Then I couldn't really help myself the way that I thought. I was so mentally broken and I had so much anxiety and fear. I was running away from home 6 to 7 days a week to Starbucks just to have peace out of fear. And that's a whole nother story. And maybe I'll make a live stream on that. And I didn't have a job, so they give me free water. And then when I had a couple dollars, I get a cup of coffee. But let me explain something to you. When I was in that room where I used to live, I used to pray to God. And I was so pissed at God, guys. I was so mad. I said, if you're real, then why am I suffering? I would say, if you love me the way that you claim that you love me, why aren't you helping me? These were the thoughts that I had. But you know what? And people don't like to hear this. Sometimes God allows things to happen on purpose. Why? If things always went my way, and if things always went your way, how would you know the difference between good and evil? How would you know whether there was a God or not? How would we know there's a perfect God and power? So what he did was, he let me suffer, and then he came and he said, those prayers you've answered, oh, I got you. He answered, I'd say at least 90% of the prayers that I used to pray in that room, he answered them. He like even me doing YouTube. Do you think I'm doing this because I actually wanted to do this? Absolutely not. That was God who guided me to do this. I actually Redeemed used to be on Facebook. And I was content there. I'm like, I'm completely fine on Facebook. God, I don't want to move. He told me, I want you to get off Facebook. I'm like, I don't want to get off. I'm content here. Why do you want me to go to YouTube? I can't compete there. There's people with billions of subs and views. I cannot compete there. I don't want to go to YouTube. Just let me stay here. But guess what? I had to choose his will over my will. And so I came here. And guess what? Look, we're here. We're here, aren't we? So I can't get into everything about my testimony, and maybe I'll make a testimony video next, actually, so you guys can really hear my story. Because for me, I didn't grow up Christian, so technically I used to be atheist because I didn't believe anything. But when you experience God for yourself, not from me, not from a church, not from the pulpit, not even from reading the Bible, when you experience God for yourself, your whole world changes. There's times I've felt God's presence. There's times I've heard God's voice. I used to think Christians were crazy because they would say, oh, yeah, you can hear God's voice. I said, no, you can't. You people are psychotic. That's what I used to think. Until I heard his voice. How many years was that? I think that was about 3 or 4 years after I got saved. And then what did that do? That helped me have a relationship with him. Because you can be a religious person. There's people who go to church. There's people who go to Wednesday Bible study. And did you know they don't even know God? They don't know him. Those things don't qualify you as a Christian, and it does not qualify you to know God. Do you know what qualifies you of knowing Him? Having a relationship with Him. What does a relationship with God look like? That's intimate time with Him. That's not just praying, but that's listening. That's discernment. That's asking God, Lord, give me your discernment to hear your voice. Lord, help me out in these decisions from day to day. I don't know where to go to school, my King. Could you show me? What does that look like? And he answers in different ways. I was a religious person, used to pray 3 times a day. And what I got was suffering. I lost my beliefs on him when my brother brutally murdered and those killers roaming freely. I've learned we are on our own in this world, and you got to do hard work instead of praying. So let me explain this. One, I apologize, and I'm so sorry to hear about your brother's murder. That is disgusting. And yes, you're correct. We do have to work hard because it says in the Bible, faith without works is dead. So yeah, you got to work. But I want you to understand, Prince Gamo, your brother was murdered brutally, and the killer's roaming free. And you're hurt by that, and you've lost faith in God. But in that, does that mean God is evil, or does that mean that man is evil? So the person who's roaming free right now, he may not have been arrested. He may be living the life, right? He might be living la vida loca. Do you think there will ever be justice for that man? And if not on this planet, do you think that that man will make it to heaven? Do you think that that man is just happy all the time? So, and listen, I want you to understand, Prince Gamo, I feel the same way as you sometimes. Why do these people, God, get to have those things, but the more I fight for you, the more I suffer? You think those thoughts don't come to me? Oh, they come. But you know what it says in his word? It says, do not envy the wicked. I made a live stream on that. Don't envy the wicked, because their day of judgment and their time will come. And I say, well, what about right now? Because I want to live good right now, baby. I'm not trying to wait. And I don't want to wait for them to go to hell to suffer. I want them to suffer right now. But guess what God keeps trying to tell me to do? Do you trust me like you claim you do? Is your faith in me based off of what I do for you? And I'm like, I have to think about that. These are real life thoughts that you and I have to think about. Do we love God no matter what happens and trust that He's a good God, even when the most horrific things happen, that there's another side of this that we don't know or understand? Or do we walk away from Him? I'm going to be honest with you, I've walked away from God before. I surely did. Oh, He pissed me off. I surely walked away. But He drew me back. Oh, He drew me back, baby. And I never walked away again. Even in my darkest times, I never walked away. Even the times I even thought about committing suicide, I still actually didn't walk away because I understood, I had to learn. If I walk away from Him, who else is there for me? Who else is going to help me? Who else is going to love me? Who else is going to protect me? There's nobody. I have no family to protect me. I got my girl, but my girl can only do so much. I'm the man. She can only do so much. I don't have friends like that. And now in church, I'm building, camaraderie, and I'm building acquaintances with people. I'm getting to know people. But beyond these people, there's nobody for me. He's the only one that never left me. When my family treated me like garbage, God never treated me like garbage. When my friends abandoned me, God never abandoned me. When women were coming in and out of my life, He never left me. When I was suicidal, He still didn't leave me. When I prayed and I asked God, Lord, just let me go because this is not worth it to me anymore. I don't want to live like this. He never listened to me, and He did not let me go. That's why I'm standing here today. My mom is mentally ill, can't love me correctly. I was mad at God for giving me a mother like that, and I was mad at my mom. But you know what I had to say? I don't know why you gave me a mom like that. Beats me. This is some BS. But I'm going to trust you, Lord. And not only am I going to trust you, teach me how to love my mom right. And guess what He did? He's doing that. After over 30 years of me being mad at this woman, this year I'm finally seeing that. My father was, whether some people say he was killed, some people say he had a heart attack. But he's dead. He died when I was 19. And I sit here wondering, I didn't even get a chance to spend time with him, really. I didn't really get a chance, God. Why did he have to die? But you know what? I don't know why. I don't. I don't know. We don't know why people die. We don't know why people are killed. Sometimes they're killed randomly. Sometimes the people are killed because they're doing things they're not supposed to do. Sometimes people are killed for multiple reasons. Yes, God will let certain things happen. And it hurts. It hurts, bro. This hurts me to even talk about this hurts. But I want you to understand, he's a good God. Because if we believe that he's only a good God when he does something nice for us, we need to reevaluate our relationship with him. It says in the Bible that if you give your life to Jesus Christ, you will suffer. You said right here, you said you used to pray 3 times a day and what you got was suffering. That's normal in this walk. This ain't gonna be an easy walk. This ain't gonna be a smooth walk. But what he promises in his word is he's gonna be there with you through every piece of that suffering, and you're gonna walk on the other side. All the fire that you were in, you're gonna come out on the other side of it, and it's gonna look like you were never even burned, baby. That's what this is about. God's been teaching me over the last month, and I'm so glad this comment was put here. He's been teaching me because I want comfort and I want money. I'm greedy, baby. I want money and comfort. And you know what he told me? You can't have that right now. You're not gonna be comfortable right now, and I'm not gonna give you a bunch of money. And I'm like, but come on, God, just give it to me. And he says, no. So, knowing that, I say, Lord, I had to humble myself and say, Lord, your will be done. However you want me to live, I'm gonna live. And I know it hurts. We all have problems. We all have worldly desires. But don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up. Now, this stream has taken a completely different turn than what it was supposed to be. But hey, when God's moving, baby. When somebody's leaving comments like that, I gotta address it, because this is real life too. This is real life. And I want you guys to not give up on yourself and not give up on God. And I want you to know I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for hanging in there. I'm proud of you for still being here. I always say it every stream. I'm proud of you because I am. I'm proud that you guys have not given up. You guys are awesome. And thank you so much for your support for Redeemed. Thank you for your support for Redeemed UK. Thank you for your support for Redeemed Canada. Thank you guys for doing what you've been doing. Because without you, I wouldn't, there would be no Redeemed. It'd just be me talking to myself. It's because of people like you who make this work. So, let's get back onto the topic, I guess. Redeemed UK and Redeemed Canada. What was we talking about? We were talking about equipping yourself and then going out and going into these communities, Muslim communities and atheist communities, and sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ. How important is that? We also, when we're doing these things in your countries, I know a lot of people want to make this about race. This is a race war. It's there. The reason this is happening is because this race, and this race is barbaric. That's what a lot of people think. Not everybody thinks that, but there are people who think that. I want you to understand this is not necessarily a race war. This is being painted as a race war. Do you know what war this is? This is actually a spiritual war. This is spiritual warfare. Race really has nothing to do with this. Now, obviously, there's different cultures. People come from different parts of the world. Religions creep up in different parts of the world, for sure. So there's definitely cultural differences. Do I think the West and the East or Middle East can coexist in the same space with two different religions? It doesn't look like that's working because it's just completely different. So the same way that they can come into the country and tell you guys that you need to be Islamic in order to be saved, then you have to come back and say, no, I pray for you, my brother, and I pray that you give your life to Jesus Christ. Let me share with you how God has changed me. Because there's Muslims converting to Christianity all the time. It's actually quite common. It's more common than it's let on. Because we always hear about how Muslims are converting Christians, but there are a lot of Christians that are converting Muslims too. Don't think that's not happening. And it's very possible from the story I just told earlier about me converting a Muslim and giving his life to Jesus Christ. It is very possible. But are we willing to put the hard work in? Because it's easy to come up here and complain. These people are doing this. They did that. That's the easy part. It's the complaint. The hard part is put that work in that God wants. Because remember, it says in the Bible, faith without works is dead. So we got to have faith, but we also have to put in the work. And that's putting our feet to the ground. Maybe that's going online. I don't know what you got to do. But share the gospel of Jesus Christ. Canada, you guys have been a little bit passive over there or up there because I'm below you. So you guys have been passive up there. You've been letting people come in there doing stuff like that. You got to stand for God. You got to stand for Jesus. Canada, is a Christian nation, and we want it to stay a Christian nation. So that means you're going to have to put work in to make sure it stays a Christian nation. That is God's call to you. That is your responsibility. And after that, after you keep that a Christian nation, then go out to the world and share the gospel, baby. Go out to the world. Remember, it's not a race thing. It is a spiritual thing. It is about right and wrong. It is about Jesus and the enemy. That's where all of this stems from. And that's important. That's where your eyes have to be focused on. You being changed by God, and you helping other people change, being the light in the darkness. You're called to do that, Canada. Be the light in the darkness. Britain, be the light in the darkness. And don't even get me started about here in America. Apparently this stuff's going on over here. Apparently Islam is being spread like wildfire in America. I didn't even know that. I might have to get into this topic. I didn't know. It's going everywhere. They're not playing any games out here. So with the same velocity that they're not playing any games, the enemy's not playing any games, we have to not play games. We got to be on it. I don't want people's relationship with Jesus Christ to be fickle. I don't want your relationship to be, if you do something for me today, God, I'll love you. But if you don't do this for me, God, tomorrow, I don't love you. If these things happen to me that are good, I love you. And when these things that don't happen, I don't love you. That's not a strong relationship. Then you're in this territory, and it's easy to fall into this because I've fallen in it. It becomes fickle. And then we look at God as a genie. We don't want to look at him as a genie. He is a God who has given us free will. He also has his own. He makes decisions. Do you think I agree with every decision God makes in my life? Absolutely not. I'm like, what is this? Why did you do that? What? But guess what? It's all working together for my good. It's changing me. It's growing me. It's turning me to a man. But more importantly, it's turning me to a man of God. So I want you guys to be equipped the same way. I don't want your relationship with God to be fickle. I don't want it to be, I wanted your relationship to be solid and you get to know him. Not just from church, not just from reading the Bible. Those things are important and I want you guys to continue to do that. But you must have relationship with him. That is the number one thing. Because if you have relationship with God, you will not leave him. No matter how sticky it gets. The closer you get to him, you will suffer more. You will suffer for sharing the gospel in Britain. You will suffer for sharing the gospel in Canada and around the world. You will suffer. But understand in your suffering, there is something else that's being done in the spirit. This is the ultimate reward for your king. And you will be rewarded. Whether it is on this planet or whether it's in heaven or both, you will be rewarded. Do not give up the good fight of faith, my friends, my brothers, my sisters of the UK, my brothers and sisters of Canada. Do not give up the good fight of faith. Did you know right now this is the longest live stream I've ever done up here at 29 going on 30 minutes. I've never done a live stream this long. So this is a good live stream. By the way, if you want to donate, Redeem Canada, Redeem UK. I'm going to, when this stream is over, I'm going to be putting my Venmo in the link description. If you would love to support Redeemed, go ahead and donate any amount of money. But anyway, this is our duty and this is our job. God wants nothing more than to help us open our eyes to that. We've been asleep too long. We've been playing too many games. And so because we're not doing what we're supposed to do, that's why the things in the world are happening to us. That's why countries are being invaded, because we're not standing on business. We're not standing on business. Britain, you're not standing on business. That's why that stuff is happening there. You're not following God. You're not. Because if you were, that wouldn't have happened. Canada, you're not following God right. Because if you were, these things, they would still happen, but they wouldn't be able to take root and take over. Does that make sense? They wouldn't be able to take, because you have what it takes to stop these things. God wants to be able to use you guys. He wants to use you guys. He wants these countries to be strong, strong in his spirit, to be able to overcome the enemy, to be overcome any target. You guys are literally targets. He wants you to be able to overcome those things. But there's you got to do the hard work. You got to do the hard work, guys. You got to. Because if you don't do the hard work, this is not going to change. Man, this is the longest stream in history, and one of my most definitely, I don't know what to say. This is quite the stream. I'll just say that. This is quite the stream. We're 30 minutes in. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, show some love, donate when the stream is over. Um, I just, yeah, I want, I want to win. I want us to win, and we will win. We've already won, but there's still work to be done on this earth. And I know Prince Gamo dropped a heavy comment on us, and that's part of sharing the gospel. Is you got to be ready. You got to be ready when people drop heavy stuff like that. You got to be ready to come with the truth. And that sometimes the truth doesn't always feel good. Sometimes it feels like garbage. Sometimes it feels like it's not fair. So it feels many things, but the truth is the truth. And I don't ever want you guys to lose faith. Don't ever lose faith, man. Prince Gamo, I hope you come back to Jesus, man. I do. I hope you may not understand why he died. Your brother, we may not understand. But I just want you to know that God is still a good God and that he loves you, man. He loves you more than you could ever comprehend. He does. And I'm sorry that that happened to you. But don't give up faith, bro. Don't give up faith. All right, 32 minutes in, and your boy is slightly getting hungry. I don't know if there's any last thoughts or what. Any last thoughts? Is there anything else we want to say? Man, I've been talking for 30 minutes. My mouth is starting to hurt. Jaw cracking. I've never done a stream this long. Jaw cracking. Any last thoughts? I guess not. This was a great stream. I really enjoyed it. The combination of Redeem UK and Redeem Canada was awesome. I love you guys so much, and I thank you so much for your support. And this was your boy Roberto, and I was back again with another Redeem UK and a Redeem Canada live. And until next time, peace.